Somewhere on the beaches of Normandy, a soldier is exhausted, starving, out of food. In his pocket, a chocolate bar. But he doesn't eat it. Not yet, because this chocolate was made on purpose to taste terrible. Bad enough that he'd only touch it if he was truly about to die. That bar came from one of America's most beloved candy companies. And what they built for this war would end up in the pockets of 150,000 soldiers on D-Day. To understand how a candy company ended up on a battlefield, you have to go back before the war, before the fame, to one man's third attempt at not going broke. Milton Hershey failed at making candy twice. His first two candy businesses collapsed. Most people would have quit. Milton didn't. He started over with a caramel company, and this time it worked. But Milton wasn't satisfied with caramel. He'd seen German chocolate making machinery at a Chicago exhibition, and something clicked. Chocolate, he believed, was the future, not a luxury, but something every American could afford. So he sold his caramel business and bet everything on chocolate. He built factories. He built an entire town in Pennsylvania around them, literally named it Hershey. Streetlights shaped like chocolate kisses. Streets named Cocoa Avenue and Chocolate Avenue. By the 1930s, Hershey wasn't just a company, it was an American institution. Then came a knock on the door that had nothing to do with candy. April 1937. Colonel Paul Logan from the U.S. Army Quartermaster Corps met with Hershey's leadership. Logan wasn't there to buy candy bars for soldiers to enjoy. He was there because the Army needed an emergency ration, something a soldier could carry into combat and eat only if he had nothing else. Logan gave Hershey's chemists 4 rules. The bar had to weigh exactly 4 ounces, pack a high number of calories, survive extreme heat without melting. And this is the strange part: it could not taste too good. Why? Because if it tasted like a regular Hershey bar, hungry soldiers would eat it immediately instead of saving it for emergencies. Hershey's chief chemist, Sam Hinkle, took on the challenge. And what he created broke every rule of normal chocolate making. Regular chocolate is smooth and pourable when warm. Hinkle's creation wasn't. It was a thick, dense paste so stiff it had to be pressed into molds by hand instead of poured. The final recipe: chocolate liquor, sugar, cocoa butter, skim milk powder, oat flour, and vanillin. Less sugar than normal chocolate. More raw chocolate liquor. The result was intentionally bitter and nearly impossible to bite into. They called it the Field Ration D, or the D ration. Each bar packed 600 calories, wrapped in aluminum foil, wax-coated cardboard, and cellophane, so nothing heat, bugs, or moisture could ruin it. Soldiers had a different name for it: Hitler's secret weapon. Not because it hurt the enemy. Because it was so unpleasant to eat, soldiers joked it was practically a punishment. The first batch, 90,000 bars, went out for field testing in the Philippines, Hawaii, Panama, and even Antarctica with Admiral Byrd's expedition. It passed. The Army approved it for full wartime use. When the U.S. officially entered the war in 1941, Hershey didn't just supply a few bars, they went into full wartime production. By the war's end, Hershey's Pennsylvania plant was producing 24 million ration bars a week. Between 1940 and 1945, over 3 billion units were made and shipped to soldiers across the globe. On June 6, 1944, D-Day, roughly 150,000 Allied soldiers stormed the beaches of Normandy. In their pockets, Hershey's chocolate. It wasn't just food. Soldiers used the bars as currency, trading them with European civilians for goods, favors, even information. In villages across a starving continent, a bar of American chocolate was worth more than money. And here's the twist: soldiers who complained about the bad taste back home were often the same ones handing pieces to hungry children in liberated towns, kids who had never tasted chocolate in their lives. The worst-tasting chocolate in the world became, for some people, the sweetest thing they'd ever had. Hershey made an estimated 70% of all chocolate rations issued to American troops during World War II. A company built on caramel and childhood candy bars had quietly become part of the American war machine, not with weapons, but with 4-ounce bars of deliberately bad chocolate. Milton Hershey didn't live to see the full scale of what his company did during the war. He passed away in 1945, the same year the war ended. But the factory he built to make chocolate affordable for everyday Americans ended up feeding soldiers on the deadliest beaches in modern history. Next time you unwrap a Hershey bar, remember this brand didn't just build a candy empire, it survived a war. And in its own strange, bitter way, it helped win one too. If you want the next hidden food story like how KFC's secret recipe almost got leaked by a family member, hit follow so you don't miss it.